Hi Aries, and welcome to your reading for 2019. This is an overall general reading for the Rams out there, the Aries people. My name is Melanie. Welcome. Today I'm using two different decks. The decks I usually use called Tattoo Tarot, of which the main cards are out there already, and I use another set of cards called the Dreamtime Reading Cards. I pull one card from them, which I kind of use as like an oracle card to get an overall kind of theme for the month, or in this case the year. That card is over there. It's called River, which means movement, and what I like to do is at the end of the reading read from the little booklet here, which goes through each card, and see if we can kind of pull it all together and get an overall theme. I love these cards, the Dreamtime Reading Cards. They help connect with the ancient spirit and nature of Australia. The Dreamtime is the Aboriginal Australian spiritual kind of belief system, and they're absolutely beautiful cards. So let's just dive right in. I have quite a few cards out there, as you can see. The first card is about the past energy and what may have been a focus of 2018. For that, what came out for you guys was the Six of Cups. The main cards across the back there, I'm just going to jump around a bit, encapsulate different areas of your life for 2019. The first card there is love and relationships, and for that you guys pulled the Ace of Swords. The second card being about money and financial issues this year. The Knight of Wands came out for that. The next card representing the area of work, study, hobbies. The Ace of Coins or Pentacles came out for you guys. The next card representing the area of sort of spirituality, faith, universal kind of God matters, the Nine of Swords. And the next card there, the final card along the wall there, representing the area of health for 2019 for Aries, and you guys have the Lovers card. The final two cards there are about some possible areas of obstacles that may come up for this year. You have the Two of Cups, and the final card about helpful tools for 2019. You guys have the Nine of Coins, the Nine of Pentacles, otherwise known as. So I'm just going to dive right in. So the card that came out for you guys that may have been an area of focus for 2018 was the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is a card about the past, actually, about childhood, past connections, reunions, old relationships, old connections, nostalgia, looking back at the past with the maturity and hindsight of age. It's about memories, renewal, getting back to basics. You know, when we think about childhood, we often think of a far simpler time in our life than being adults. It's a card about reminiscing. It's also sometimes a card about connecting with someone either from your past or someone that you feel like you've known in like an old soul kind of way. This can be a card about, I think I said reunions, possibly dwelling on the past too much. It can also be a card about being perhaps a little bit too childish or a little bit too stuck in playtime. But my overall sense of this card in this reading for you guys is that in 2018 you perhaps were working on issues to do with your past or childhood, or they came up very prominently and you needed to sort of process and work through them. So maybe there were some issues with the family, your childhood in some way, or say even perhaps an old relationship that really shaped you. So the past is always present within us, but it doesn't define who we are today. You know, it can be as loud or as quiet as we choose it to be. So for whatever reason, maybe there was a focus in 2018 for Aries in this area of your life, maybe family dynamics, maybe stuff that happened in your childhood, or a bit, you know, in adolescence or early adulthood if you're an older person, or maybe a relationship that was particularly prominent in some way, whether positive or negatively, and this was kind of worked through, I hope, in some way in 2018. So moving on now to 2019, and the first area we look at is the area of love and relationships for 2019 for you Rams. The card you guys have is the card that you guys got was the Ace of Swords, and you actually have 2 aces in this reading, which is just wonderful. Brand new beginnings, new gifts from the universe. So the Ace of Swords is about mental clarity. You know, Swords suit is about thinking, things to do with the intellect, ideas, communication, words, truths, matters of the mind. So here we can see with the Ace of Swords, which is a victory card as well. There's a crown in it representing victory and accomplishment, but this is a card about insight, knowledge, wisdom, truth, cutting through to the heart of the matter, cutting away and cutting out the old and the new kind of coming in, some brand new ideas, new insight, new visions. It's about, like I said before, it's sort of a gifted way of thinking about things. The gift is a gift sort of from the universe, like you've had some new perspective on things, particularly in this area of love and relationships. And I do wonder if that is connected to the work that you've maybe done in 2018 regarding the Six of Cups card there, some work that you've done in yourself, processed, looked at, explored, to do with relationships, whether that's family relationships or intimate or personal relationships. And now you have a new way of looking at things. This is a very encouraging card. It's a card about sort of being analytical, being rational, being blessed with intellectual kind of insight and fulfillment. Can be a double-edged sword card, so sort of balancing up the pros and cons of thinking versus overthinking, I guess. But ultimately, this is a card about seeing things a new way, I think, new insights and that mental clarity, a card of breakthroughs really in that area. So excellent, I think an excellent card to have in the area of love and relationships, that you are now going into things with a really different perspective and way of thinking about things. So the second card there along the wall in the area of money and finances, what came up for you guys was the Knight of Wands. Wands is your suit, it's the fire signs, and Wands are very passionate cards. The Knight of Wands is a card about energy, adventure, impulsiveness, restlessness, lust, action, being on the move, travel, flight, moving house, renovating your house, moving address, moving city, state, country, moving overseas, possibly galloping away from home, with a lot of new kind of energy, new concepts and ideas which may be really inspiring, putting into practice creative ideas that you may have, being really ready to try new things, to experiment with new things and new projects. The Knight of Wands is a knight that is very forward moving and very keen to rush into things, can be a little bit too hasty, can be very flamboyant. So it can also be about learning new things, going back to school, new study and stuff like that. The sense I get of this card being in the area of money and finances for you guys in 2019 is that there's a lot of movement in this area, a lot of perhaps new things coming in, sort of new, maybe coming to a decision. You've been sitting on the fence about something and now you feel inspired and energized and you're just like riding that wave, which is good. However, just to be mindful not to be too hasty, to act with a little bit of caution, to not be too flamboyant with your money. I think it does suggest that there will be money and finances available to take you on this new endeavor, whether you are moving house, moving something physical in your life, that there will be a financial capacity to do that, and that's a positive thing. But to just not be too over the top with it, just have a bit of a level head to balance out that kind of rushing in, excited energy that comes along with this card. It's an inspiring card. And an exciting card. You just need to sort of pace yourself and not kind of spend all your money on whatever new things are coming in this, or now having this kind of new inspiration or finally making a decision with things, and you just want to get up and go with that and kind of like throw all the money in and like decorate the hell out of it or do something like that, but just, you know, you still need money to live, and to generate more money. So but overall, a really good, energizing, exciting, creative new card to have in the area of money and finances for 2019. The next area that we'll look at is the area of work, work or study or hobbies. I've just kind of clumped them in together. You guys have the Ace of Coins or the Ace of Pentacles. Fabulous card. The Pentacles suit is about, you know, tangible things, practical matters, money and finances, which we just covered, but about work, career, possessions, business, profit, labour, you know, tangible things really. I think I said that. But so this is an ace. So this suggests new things, a new offer coming in, financially or in some sort of business sense, a fresh financial start, a new enterprise gifted from the universe. This is another kind of card that suggests real kind of gifts coming to you. This is a very grounding and solid energy. So whatever new opportunity that comes in brings abundance, practical success. It's a card about manifesting things, perhaps unexpected gifts of money, positive new beginnings in finances, in money, in security, and sometimes the result of hard work, you know, paying off in some way, shape or form. It's a very grounded energy, quite intense, quite solid. Just be careful that solidness doesn't hold you in place. But overall, this is, I think, a really fabulous card to have in this area. So I think this card, sitting right next to the Knight of Wands, suggests a lot of new things coming in for you guys in the area of money and work, or hobbies or study or something like that, giving you real opportunities to create some new creative or practical endeavour in your life that's going to pay off in a really positive way. So I think they're a really good combination. And of course you've got the Ace of Swords beginning at the beginning of the reading there, in that area of love and relationships. So a lot of new things, new energy coming in this year, positive new energies, sort of gifts from the universe coming in, and a lot of movement and change, but positive, really positive stuff. So perhaps the work that you've done on yourself or in some area of your life in 2018 has finished, you know, and with that door closing, it's now created space in your life and in yourself to invite in these exciting new beginnings in these areas of your life, matters of the heart, matters of practical matters as well, new opportunities coming in. The next card you have there is the Nine of Swords, and that's in the area of spirit, of spirituality, of faith, of connection to God or to Source. Look, the Nine of Swords is a bit of a difficult card. Typically, this card is about worry. You know, it's about a busy mind, anxiety, nightmares, sleeplessness, waking up in the middle of the night with worries, with problems. It can be a card about fear and suspicions, shame, being really in your head, overthinking things, overanalyzing things, so much so that they kind of literally torment you, wake you up. It can be about regrets of the past, the present, the future, fears of the future, I would say there. It can be also be a card about loss, sort of grief, whether that's an actual end of a relationship or actual grief through a loss of a person in your life, physically or emotionally. This can be a card too about sort of sudden realizations about yourself, which is, I think, a good thing, but can be really confronting. So what does that mean, given what this card traditionally means in relation to this area of your life, spirituality? I think you're way too much in your head, or just to be very mindful in 2018 to get out of your head and to reconnect to your belief system, because there's something that may be going on here that is disconnecting you from that. In that card that we can see there, the Nine of Swords, there's that eye in the middle, like your third eye kind of thing, your connection to the universe, and there's swords going through it. So your thought processes or the way you're overthinking things or being too in your head, I think is getting in the way and disconnecting you and separating you from, or potentially can be this year, I'm going to say. This does not mean that it's set in stone, and of course this is a general reading, so it may resonate, it may not, you know. But just to do the things you need to do to reconnect you to what you choose to believe in, whether that's meditation, mindfulness practices, prayer, being in nature, being with animals, reading, listening to stuff, practicing gratitude, writing stuff, being thankful, going to church if you do those, if you need to visit places of worship, temples, whatever that's about for you. I would encourage you to really get back to some of those practices to get you out of your head and connected back to source again, because there could be some real struggles in that area this year if you are too much thought-based and not heart-based enough and not spirit-based enough. Okay, moving on to the area of health in 2019 for Aries. You guys have the Lovers card, which is a really beautiful card about, you know, relationships, love, union, attraction, connections, compatibility, harmony. You know, this card can be about, there's two genders in this card, the male and the female, masculine, feminine, Adam and Eve. It can be a card, this card is the Gemini, the twins, two things. So having to make, sometimes this card is about choices as well, going from one choice to another, needing to make an intuitive decision about something. This card, it can very much be usually about the blessing from the divine, from the universe, good fortune and harmonies. Can be a card about marriage, a mature relationship. What does this card mean though in the area of health? So apparently this card doesn't come up very often in health readings, in some research I was doing, but it does suggest this is a positive card to have in the area of health, that you will get support in the area of health or any health needs that come up in the area in 2019 for Aries. Because this card is about two people, you see there, twins. This card can represent internally in the body parts of which there are two things. So eyes, ears, lungs, kidneys, arms, legs, ovaries, testicles. Can't think of anything else, but maybe just to be mindful, or there may be some issues coming up in these areas of the bodies where there are two parts of the one system. And to just be on the lookout with that. But either way, if those issues come up, you have a lot of support to get through any kind of health issues you have in those areas of your body in 2019. So either way, and as well, this card, you can see there is a heart on it, which is a little bit obscured. Metaphorically, this card can represent matters of the heart, but not in a practical sense, not actually having heart problems, but sometimes grief and loss, and just thinking with the Nine of Swords card there too, which can be about grieving. Maybe something will happen this year that will put you in a state of grief. It does not necessarily mean the actual physical death of something, but it may mean the end of something in your life, and needing to work through that as softly as you can, I guess. But that may not happen. Hopefully that won't happen. However, life is very much about endings and beginnings, endings and beginnings, endings and beginnings, the cyclic nature of life. Just take care of yourself through whatever comes up in that area. Okay, moving on to any obstacles that may come up this year. You guys have the Two of Cups. So I thought this was really interesting. Straight after Lovers is the Two of Cups, so another card of dual things. There, the Two of Cups is about partnerships, attraction, soul connections, joy, sharing, a couple, friendships blossom into romance, a real kindred connection, compromise, a harmonious match, teamwork, the benefit of teamwork, open and exchange communication, a loving exchange, you know, really positive communication, trust and stuff, joy, sharing, feeling loved, you know. Beautiful card. What does this mean though if it's come up in the position of obstacles? What this could mean is that a partnership that you're in, whether that's a personal, you know, intimate relationship, or it could be a business partnership or a really intense friendship you're in, could be distracting you this year from other areas of your life. Maybe there's too much focus on a union or a partnership, and that's taking you away from energy and time in other areas like your family, your friends, work, other goals that you have. It could mean though that a partnership could distract you from yourself somehow, or that a partnership you're in, there's too much focus on the other person, you're putting too much energy into the other person, and sort of the other person or the relationship, and shutting out the rest of your world, having too narrow a focus potentially on some sort of partnership or union you're in. That could be an obstacle that may come up for you guys this year. So just as lovely as it is to be in a bit of a love bubble, if this is a love relationship that you're going to be entering into, or if you're already in a personal intimate relationship and the intensity really increases, or, you know, say if you are moving house this year, with the Knight of Wands card possibly suggesting that, and you do that with a partner, and of course you just kind of dive right in there, and it's just the couple, just be very mindful to still be connected to other areas of your life, and that it doesn't stop you from maintaining those relationships and connections, or be an obstacle in areas, say, of work, or other projects or other goals that you have. So perhaps a bit of a warning there. The last card you guys have representing possible helpful tools that may come up in 2019, or things that may be of use. You have the Nine of Coins, or the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card about gratitude, really. It's about abundance, coming to a place of material satisfaction and enjoying the fruits of your labour, being very secure and comfortable. It's a card about long-term planning, so it may well be useful to really focus on some long-term goals here and what steps you need to take. But it does suggest that you will absolutely get there, because it's a card of abundance and a material comfort, accomplishment, safety and security, being able to sort of sit back, chill for a little because you've worked hard, and now you've got some material and practical benefit of that, whether you actually have more money, you know, or you've moved into a house that's or a job that's just absolutely lovely and beautiful, and now you can sit back and go, wow, you know, I created all this, I did all this, I manifested this, I worked hard, I sacrificed things, I used discipline to get where I am, I learned from my mistakes, and now I can kind of sit back in my good fortune and celebrate a little bit, and perhaps also be generous in that and grateful in that. So be mindful though of not being too cut off from the real world, even though this is a card of great success. It doesn't mean that you've shifted up into the lofty kind of eons of the universe there. You're still on Earth, you know, to still be tuned into the real world, so to speak. But either way, I think it's a really positive card suggesting great success and material gain and benefit from that, and being able to really finally kind of revel in that a bit, and enjoy and appreciate the good fortune that you have due to your hard work. You know, so I think that's very fitting in light of the earlier cards you have with the Ace of Pentacles, in the area of work. You know, lots of new opportunities coming in there. The Knight of Wands, lots of making decisions around things, lots of creative, forward-thinking energy and movement. You've not got the other Ace there. Just be careful, I think, this year of, like I said, being a little bit too disconnected from God, the universe, faith, and being so much into a relationship or a partnership of some sort that it does disconnect you from the world around you. Overall though, I think I'm a lovely reading for 2019. And of course what I'm going to do now is grab my little book that comes along with the Dreamtime Reading Cards and read about river and movement. And movement, of course, I think is very, when I think of movement, I think of physical movement, but of course you can have internal movement as well as external movement in the world around you. But so I'm just going to read though, because this has a different interpretation of movement. My town of Bellingen, my hometown, this is the author speaking, not me personally, is cut in half by a largish river that flows from the mountains over to the headland at Uruganda. It is a place to swim during summer, to observe the mullet spawning in late winter and early spring. It can also be a destructive surging mass of dirty brown water and debris during times of flooding, which are very common in our little valley. The river represents movement. The water has a source and a destination, but it doesn't always flow straight on its journey between these two. It meanders and twists around the environment it encounters and chooses the easiest path. The river is associated with emotions, which often flow and change direction depending on the obstacles encountered along the way. Sometimes your emotions may seem to almost dry up and you find yourself stagnant and stuck. Often it will take an outpouring of emotions to fix this. Like the floods that clear out the debris, your tears can help you let go of emotions and toxins. To me, when I read that makes sense in light of the Knight of Wands. Maybe you have been a bit stuck and a bit stagnant around a decision and you had a bit of a breakthrough and now you're like, let's just go for it. So water is fluid, a giver of life. Some Aboriginal language groups used rivers for birthing, and because of this they are also associated with supporting new life and growth. In some places the river's water is shallow, in others the current is strong and it is hard to fight against the pressure to be propelled forward. These are also places of stillness and deep dark depths where you can rest and allow yourself to heal. The message of the river card is to let yourself move through emotions, cry if you need to, and don't be afraid to change direction or choose a path of least resistance. So I'm wondering if some of perhaps the emotional work I think that you guys have done in 2018 on your past in some way, shape and form has allowed you to move through things. It's opened up new possibilities and new options for you guys this year, and you're going with that now. The only thing I would just caution against is to stop fighting. Say you want to cling on to things a bit, or you're wanting to go against the current. Sometimes it's just easy to let go and to have that faith that may be missing, with the Nine of Swords card there suggesting that there may be some blocks and obstacles and disconnection in that way. You've got to let go and let the current take you where it wants to take you, and it's going to take you good places, because this reading overall is saying some very good new solid things are coming in this year. New way of thinking about things, new way of doing things, some real gifts and opportunities. Fantastic stuff, I think, for Aries. So thank you so much for listening and watching this reading. I really appreciate it. If you liked it and it resonated with you, or it was helpful in some way, please do what you need to, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of crazy stuff. I do monthly readings. Check back in February, and maybe check this reading too in a few months' time, or at the end of the year, should you remember. I usually don't remember, but to do that. But I really appreciate your time in listening to this, and have a fabulous 2019. Bye.